Hello everyone, this is the EDF3211 group presentation on inclusive teaching and learning strategies. My name is Jingwen. To start with, I will introduce the classroom context and the inclusive teaching strategy we've chosen accordingly. Shuyin will next explain how this strategy supports students' learning and well-being. After that, Yuxin and Shengda will demonstrate the evaluation of the efficacy and effectiveness of the strategy concerning different stakeholders, in addition to the challenges. The classroom we chose to focus on is located in a primary and secondary school in the suburb. It consists of 20 students with neurological and cultural diversity. One student has learning difficulties. This student has disorder and delay in academic and behavioral development compared with the typically developing peers, resulting from the problem with reading. This student is likely to have distracted behaviors and difficulties in connecting prior knowledge and experiences with new learning. This may cause poor self-esteem and low academic expectations. Also, there is another student diagnosed as having Tourette. This student is caused to have sudden movements and sounds repeatedly, including blinking, shrugging the shoulders, humming, clearing the throat, or yelling out a word or phrase. This student may encounter academic and behavioral concerns at school and a high risk of undergoing bullying from peers. Concerning cultural diversity, 2 students are raised up in the Aboriginal communities before the transition to the school. 8 students are immigrants from other countries, mostly ancient and European, whose parents have landed a job in Australia. These students are regarded as EAL learners and may have difficulties in learning and socialization in the classroom because of linguistic and cultural differences. To support this classroom context, we selected family-school partnership as the inclusive strategy. Developing partnerships with families is a common strategy in education, characterized by the cooperative relationships and activities involving school staff, administrators, parents, carers, and other family members of students at a school. It is based on mutual trust and respect and shared responsibility for the education of students. The policy of the implementation of framework for improving student outcomes involves the strong relationships and active partnerships between the families or carers and schools to enhance student participation and engagement. The Australian government identified its 7 key dimensions of family-school partnership, including the active relationships and communicating, connecting learning at school and at home, building community and identity, recognizing the role of the family, consultative decision-making, collaborating beyond the school, and participating. In the chosen context of the school, the example activities applying family-school partnership to support students can be various. Within the curriculum, it can be an English reading program with parents reading and recommending the narratives in their cultures or the biographies of famous people with disabilities. It can also be a history learning activity, inviting the Aboriginal students' elderly family members to introduce Aboriginal history, or an excursion involving families of students to the Immigration Museum. The design and technologies teachers can hold a cultural night with students' family, sharing the food and recipe with their cultural identities to explore how food is selected and prepared for healthy eating. The health and physical education teacher and the parents of the students with Tourette and learning difficulties can collaboratively create a session to introduce different types of neurological disabilities and how to treat these people. Other activities can include the teacher-parent conferences that help teachers to identify the academic, social, and physical needs of individual students through the communication with parents. Newsletters and emails sending daily reports to the parents and carers, keeping them on track of their children's progresses. Videotape of their classroom performance and sharing the home learning plan can also be an example of family-school partnership.
The implementation of parent-school partnership will support students in a variety of ways that will enable them to succeed in school in the future. There are 3 main areas that I will address in my presentation, and they are student learning needs, engagement, and participation. First, learning needs. Due to differences among individuals, students have diverse learning needs. In order to conduct inclusive education practices in the classroom, it's highly necessary for the teachers to recognize the different learning needs of their students so that they can develop differentiated instruction for them. However, SMELT found that given the complexity of individual differences, teachers can find it challenging to assess students' learning needs and practice differentiated instruction. Thus, parental involvement provides teachers with a reliable source beyond the classroom of information about students' needs, in particular for less tangible needs, such as interests. Additionally, according to Bronfenbrenner's ecological system, the family is an integral part of the immediate environment in which students live and has a significant direct impact on their development. Students' experience at home may shape their characteristics and learning styles. Connecting with families allows teachers to understand students' behavior at school better. In addition, parental involvement empowers teachers to better recognize students' learning needs that teachers may not yet be aware of and to design instruction that can well meet students' diverse learning needs. Second, participation. Students' participation is influenced by their background factors, academic ability, and their mindset toward learning, as well as the learning environment. Working with parents, for example, by asking them to be the emotional support for the students when they encounter obstacles to improving their learning, can make a difference in students' academic performance and their perception of learning. Therefore, when parents are involved, it can facilitate students physically joining in school activities. Additionally, parents' involvement sends out a message to the student that their parents care and value what they learn at school, and are able to notice the effort they invest in their learning. As a result, students are more likely to invest more effort, attention, and concentration in their learning, bringing an intrinsic motivation to participate in learning activity actively. Third, engagement. Collaborating with students' family contribute to the improvement of students' engagement in learning. Mutual trust and shared responsibility between school family play a fundamental role in the family-school cooperation strategy. With having parents involved, outside of the school, parents spend time with their children getting to know their confusion towards certain learning areas and providing ongoing emotional support. By doing so, not only can teachers see students' confusion from another perspective and design additional suitable learning activities to help them, but students are also less likely to fear getting a low score on a test and upsetting their parents. They are less stressed about learning, which stimulates them to be emotionally engaged in learning and to demonstrate their learning spontaneously. In addition, for students that are from other cultures, mutual trust between family and school plays an important role in helping students integrate with the school community and engage in school activities. For immigrant students who are new to the country, they experience a high rate of social and physical isolation, often due to limited English skills as well as social and cultural discrimination. The family-school partnerships enables the immigrant family to participate in the school community, demonstrating an inclusive and welcoming environment that encourages students to interact with their peers and engage in school activities. For the Aboriginal students, since some teachers and other staff in the community may not have sufficient knowledge of Aboriginal culture, close connection with the family of Aboriginal students allow teachers to gain a deeper understanding of their students' cultural backgrounds and build up positive teacher-student relationships. Teachers are then able to engage students in a culturally appropriate manner. In conclusion, collaborating with students' family benefits not only in assisting the teachers in recognizing students' learning needs that they had not yet noticed, but also in boosting students' participation and engagement in learning. Eventually, it leads to students' improvement in academic achievement and self-development.
Now, let's take a look at the evaluation part. In this section, I will split into 3 parts that address different students' needs. Researchers have shown that children's attendance is heavily influenced by their parents' attitude towards their children. Family support for their children's homework and schoolwork, as well as active attendance monitoring, can improve students' social participation, grades, and socialization. By contrast, parents who are unconcerned about their children's grades, academic, and attendance will likely to have a negative impact on students' school performance in a variety of ways, such as low participation in schoolwork and activities, and high suspension and dropout rates. Furthermore, researchers discovered that students' attendance pattern largely parallel with parents' attitudes and behavior rather than students' choices, which demonstrates that parents' attitudes play a decisive role in children's attendance, and the family-school partnership can help parents to realize the importance of their attitudes and reach a consensus with the school. Children's attendance rate is the foundation of their success at school. Researchers show that students who attend school regularly tend to achieve higher grades and undergo a low risk of mental illness. Other researchers also state that high attendance ensures that students keep up with the classroom and tend to interact positively with the teachers and peers, and thus improving their socialization. So, family-school partnership plays an indispensable role in children's high attendance rate, and hence improves children's school performance, social relations, learning attitudes, mental health, and academic achievements. The family-school partnership can effectively improve the attendance rate of students, which is aimed at all students and families. More in depth, this kind of partnership can also provide more help to special families and more special children to meet their special needs. When facing multicultural families such as migrants and indigenous people, it is crucial for educators and families to recognize and accept each other's culture and to facilitate communication between families and schools. Studies have shown that cultural reciprocity can promote a more positive family-school partnership to achieve more rational educational goal. It includes many activities such as reading club, cultural night, and a one-on-one teacher-parent conference. By going through those activities, educators will have a better and a clear understanding of those values and beliefs that underline a family's priority, goals, and visions for the children. In addition, those activities also provide plentiful opportunities for family to learn about the functioning of the school and ultimately make better decisions regarding their children's education. For students with learning difficulties, family-school partnership can make a great positive influence on them. Studies have shown that the higher family participation in school activities and for students with learning difficulties, the students' academic performance, self-esteem, self-confidence, and the perceptions of the school will be significantly improved. For example, by organizing a family school excursion to a local museum can not only increase children's interest in learning and expand their knowledge, but also make children feel a sense of belonging in school. High-frequent home-school communication is also indispensable. Educator can provide parents with assignment diary, and teacher can fill in suggestion box 1 to provide parents with clues that can help their children to learn, while suggestion box 2 is for parents to fill and record the learning problems of the family and the children. In this way, both the school and the family can collect the latest learning situation and difficulties of the children in order to better communicate and propose solutions. Unlike students with learning difficulties, students with Tourette are capable to learn knowledge. The challenge is that the impact of Tourette students' behavior on other students in the class, as well as other students' parents' incomprehension of the disease. A case study has described a scenario that a normal student's parents was really unhappy that his child was in the same class with the Tourette students and made a complaint to the teacher. He said, "Isn't there a pill you can give her? This is unbearable for the parents of the Tourette child. It will also have a negative mental impact on the children." The research has shown that it is important for all children and parents to understand the symptoms of the disease and pay their sympathy and tolerance for inclusive teaching. Family school partnership provides a good opportunity for this, such as launching a class to popularize Tourette and inviting all parents to participate. This approach not only allows parents to understand this disease, but also gives them opportunities to communicate with each other and increase their chance of tolerance of the disease. Parents' understanding and tolerance are not enough. Educators also need to take initiative to communicate with the parents of Tourette students and provide as much one-on-one help as possible, such as daily reports through email or the assignment diary as mentioned before, By taking those measures, terrace students tend to feel less frustrated and embarrassed about their involuntary actions and noises, and consequently develop a positive relationship with their peers and making higher academic achievements.
Although family-school partnership exerts many positive effects on the overall teaching and learning outcomes, it also has challenges and practical barriers when implementing family-school partnership to some extent. Firstly, different patterns of families might experience various cultural backgrounds, which has a profound impact on parental involvement in family school activities. This statement is supported by the research, articulating that parental involvement is not always ideal among all the families, since some families might experience social, economic, individual, or practical barriers that impede parent involvement in family school partnerships. These obstacles are regularly experienced by families from minority and disadvantaged backgrounds, such as minority social cultural backgrounds, and with lower social economic status. Likewise, families with learning difficulties are more likely to have negative family emotional climates, showing low interest of family towards the child's learning activity and low expectation of family members. These families with disadvantaged backgrounds always indicate lower involvement in the family school partnership. However, it is noteworthy that parents from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander backgrounds appear to have a lack of responsiveness to school events in the past. Through developing the increasing number of successful programs, the research indicating that 9 family school partnership programs across Australia was successful in developing partnership between schools and families from ADST backgrounds. Research has shown families from ADST backgrounds and culturally and linguistically diverse backgrounds are more likely to be involved in less visible home or community-based activity. In this case, our activity involves home-based activities. The teacher is willing to send daily reports by newsletters or emails to the parents and carers so that they will receive some useful suggestions to be better involved in children's education and improvement. In addition, parental involvement is also associated with their economic status. Low parental involvement occurs often among families with low economic status. If the extracurricular activities demands extra expense, it will be detrimental to parents' sense of efficacy, which results in lower parental involvement as well as disrupting their expectations for children's future educational attainment. A higher sense of self-efficacy results in higher expectations for children, while the low sense of self-efficacy undermines parental expectations, even though their children's academic outcome is relatively high. Furthermore, low-income parents might experience high economic stress, which results in limited time and energy to accompany and educate children. In this sense, parents with financial problems are more likely to demotivate and display low self-efficacy when they are invited to engage in educational activities with their children. Additionally, research has argued that the relationship between schools and families is complex and dynamic, sometimes difficult and problematic because of the inadequate experience of teachers. This phenomenon is echoed by the research in Australia, demonstrating that family-school relationships are recognized as a contentious area with significant implications for for students, teachers, families, and communities. Some commentators have noted that communication sometimes presents difficulties in practice, as principals and teachers are supposed to have limited professional preparation to manage partnership and relationship with parents in the Australian school environment. The major problematic issue between teachers and parents is identified as unpreparedness, which can be explained by fewer teachers have received training regarding how to interact and work effectively with parents. Therefore, they are not well prepared to deal with the conflicts, crises, and emotional chaos brought about by parents' negotiation and criticism. In this regard, the school should place significant emphasis on cultivating on pre-service teachers to learn how to establish and maintain positive parent-school relationships and professional practice. To better cater for students with special needs and disabilities education, the school carry out some standalone units to teach pre-service teachers about the significance of consultation with Aboriginal communities and presenting their strengths and cultural resources they can provide, as well as teaching strategies for improving or for involving parents and communities in teaching and learning. Besides, there is a pre-service program offered in the school focusing on those EAL learners who might face cultural diversity and intercultural competence. Hence, family-school partnerships are addressed primarily as issue of cultural diversity and the impact of differences in values, language, and customs between schools and families. And thank you for listening.